Hey everybody, we're going to be talking about perhaps one of the less sexy topics when it comes to audio production. Although this is something that has been on my mind a lot because we've been getting storm after storm after storm in Colorado. And I know many of you live in places where there have been just as many or more devastating storms. One thing that always comes to mind is when I was young growing up in Michigan, anytime there was a lightning storm that came through the area, my dad would always go and unplug all the computers to make sure that there wouldn't be any power surges, that we wouldn't lose any data. And that always stuck with me. And even now, I'm always tempted to, whenever there's a storm coming through, to unplug everything in my house. And that includes my studio setup. Well, I want to talk about this product this type of product, the UPS, the uninterrupted power supply, because it's something that you should consider getting for your studio. This isn't a sponsored video, although this is a product that I was interested in and got, and I'm in contact with the company, but they're not paying me to make this. But I did want to talk about it because I think it's something that is worth looking into. And this product that I'm going to talk about a little bit today, the one that I decided on getting from Goldenmate, had so many things that I was really impressed with kind of this new trend in technology. And not all new things are bad. I think that this is a perfect example of something that is a revolutionary style product for this type of area. So say you're working in the studio and you have a power outage. If you don't have a UPS unit, your computer will shut off. Now, if you're on a laptop and it has its own battery, that's different. But even that, if there's a spike in the power, a surge from lightning or some other issue on the power grid, that could still cause an issue to your laptop and fry it. If you're on a desktop, I've got the Mac Studio Ultra. If there's a power outage, there's no battery, it's going to shut down, and whatever I'm working on is likely to be lost. I know Logic Pro, the software I use, does save things along the way, but there's no guarantee that it's going to have saved whatever music I've produced at that moment. And so this has been on my mind, and so I think this was the unit that I finally pulled the trigger with, and it's really been impressive enough to me. And the technology has improved enough that I think it's time that I was willing to actually make a video about something as non-audio related as this could be, except it really is related. So what we have is a unit that says it's going to last over 10 years. And I remember the old days working in different studios where we had different UPS units for workstations, and they were not rated to last 10 years or more. That alone is awesome. It can do 5,000 cycles with it, which is just more than I think I'm going to be using in its lifetime. What you do is you plug this in. It has 4 outlets on the back, and you can plug 4 things into that. You could technically use a power strip on it, but that's not really the point with this. I don't think that's smart, because it does have a certain amount of power that it can feed out. It's not endless, and so you don't want to overload it. But I found that with my station, what I have plugged in is my monitor, my Mac Studio Ultra, and one of my USB hubs that's powered so that hard drives and things don't crash if they're plugged into that unit. So a few things about this. I mean, the battery is intense. It's a lithium iron phosphate battery. This unit, let me just go down the list of the things I thought were the most impressive. First of all, it's near silent. It's very quiet. I can have it in the room with me with my computer, and it's not making any noise. It does make a beep if the power goes out, so you know that the power's out. Cool. It has a little screen on it, so it gives you some information, and I'll put that live feed on the screen right now so you can see that. You can also see my other power strip next to it, but you're going to be able to see that little screen. We'll talk about it. There's a power button on it, so you can actually turn it on or off. And if it's turned off, the power doesn't go through the computer, so you want to make sure that that's turned on. when you're actually using stuff. Since I'm using the computer and it's plugged into this unit right now, if I turned that off, I would lose this recording. That's not the point. However, if we had a power outage, we have actually a rainstorm happening outside right now. If we had some sort of surge or power outage right this second, I would be able to continue making this recording, but you'd hear a beep in the background. And in a moment, I'm actually going to unplug the unit from the wall, and we will run it 100% off the battery while I'm making this recording. That's pretty cool. Some of the other things that I thought were interesting, I didn't understand every little bit of this because I'm not like some sort of electrical engineer or whatnot, but it does say not only does it have the battery, but it also protects from spikes in the grid and surges. It also has what they're saying is a pure sine wave output for the electricity. So theoretically, I would be curious to see if that changes the audio at all that we're recording, if that actually cleans up the power and affects the audio quality of any of the projects. I haven't done any tests with that, but I'd be curious to know. And if you are an expert in that, in the comments, make sure you drop a comment about that. The other thing has that screen which shows the information, shows the input, electrical information, the output, and how much is on the battery. Now, what happens is when the power goes out, it loses it. There's like a brief little gap where it's like the conversion time from the live feed of electricity into the battery feed, and that's equal to or less than 20 milliseconds, which means the computer will stay running. And so I think that that's a really cool part of that. Let me actually unplug this unit and we'll see how this works. So I'm going to lean down and do this. So now you can hear a little beep. We're now fully running off of that. You'll see that the input has changed, and now we just have the output reading. And you'll see just how much draw is happening from the Mac Studio and the monitor and this USB hub are taking. Let's plug it back in. Not only does this product look great, it seems to work great. It checks all the boxes. It's relatively affordable, and considering it's going to last over 10 years, it's an investment that I think is going to be worth it in the long run. I'm not sure how many times I'm going to need this, but the truth is I don't ever want to have to need it. But if I do need it, it's going to be a difference. And I think because of the way this thing looks, that it's going to be something that you can use in your studio. It's going to fit right in stylistically speaking. It just looks great. But I think you should check it out. If you don't have a UPS system right now, this is worth the investment, especially if you live in an area where there have been a lot of storms and a lot of weather and uncertainty with the power grid. This is just something that I think is going to be a difference maker in a situation where otherwise you could actually have a lot of damage. You could have to end up buying the computer again or sending it in for repairs. This thing alone, I think, will save you from that type of headache. And at the price that this thing is, I think that it's worth that. There's a link in the description if you want to check out more information about this. I hope this was useful. Check out the link. Keep on making music, but don't leave your electrical needs in the hands of something that's not a great product.